Hi all, welcome to my class. Good afternoon. Okay, so today is our topic. We're going to today is like fourth week already, almost a month. We do the online class. Okay, so our class, the chapter for today is, ethics in international business. So you already learned about business ethics. So now we learn about the ethics in international business. I think it's more or less same. Okay, now you must know what is ethics all about. Okay, ethics actually acceptance principle of right or wrong that govern the conducts of person, the members of a profession or the action of an organization. So ethics actually the principle of right or wrong, something that you can, okay, I can do this, I cannot do this, like code of ethics, something that you can do or cannot do. Okay, business ethics are accepted principle of right or wrong governing the conduct of business people. Okay, if business, they have their own ethics, and while ethical strategy is a strategy or course of action that does not violate this accepted principle. So this is the definition. Okay, ethics, business ethics, and also ethical strategy. Alright, now we proceed to the ethical issue in the international business. So the most common ethical issue in business is involved. Okay, these are five things. Okay, the common issue normally relate with the employment practice, human rights, environmental regulations, corruption, and also moral obligation of the multinational company. So we need to go one by one. Okay, we start with the employment practice. It means that when work conditions in the host nation are clearly inferior to those in the multinational home nation, what kind of standard that normally we apply? So we have whether you want to apply the home country standard, host country standard, or something in between. Before that, you must know what is a home country and what is a host country. So home country is actually the origin country, while the host country is a nation which represent the organization of another state are present because of government invitation and or international agreement. Means if you have a business in the one country, so you are the host country because they invite you to join the business. So if you the employment practice, whether you want to follow your home country, host country, or somewhere in between. For example, I give you Apple, right? They have the factory in China. So whether the employment practice there, work standard, working days, or the what we call the basic working condition, they need to follow the home country, host country, or in between. So what they say is if they have the poor working condition, okay, it is not okay for the multinational to follow or tolerate with the poor working condition in the foreign operation. Okay, so they said that they must establish the minimum acceptable standard that at least they have a safeguard the basic rights and dignity of the employee. So they must at least protect the employee with the basic employment practice. Alright, so for example, if you're working 2 hours per day, is extremely with your extreme low pay, for example, is not good. So you must comply with the in between home and host country. It's not too high and it's not too low, so somewhere in between. Next, the ethical issue in national business is human rights. So there's a question of human rights can be arise in the international business. So basic human rights still are not respected in many nations. So some of the nations, they don't have this human rights. So rights are taken for granted in developed countries, such as a freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom of movement. They are normally taking it for granted. Okay, so in other country, this right may not be exist. So this is one of the ethical issue in the international business of human right. Maybe in Malaysia our human right is like okay, but other country their human right is not okay. So this is one of the factor that make that can be one of the ethical issue in the international business. Alright, now we move to the environmental pollution. So ethical issue arise when the environmental regulation in host nation are inferior to those in the home nation. So many developed nation has substantial regulation governing the dumping of toxic chemical and all the pollution. So this regulation are not often so this pollution, this environmental question take on the added importance because some parts of the environment are public good that no one owns but anyone can despoil. So the tragedy of common occurs when a resource held in a common by all but owned by no one is overused by individuals and resulting in its degradation. Okay, next we go to the corruption. So the US Foreign Corrupt Practice Act outlawed that the practice of paying bribes to foreign government officials in order to gain business. The Convention of the Combating Bribery of Foreign Public Official in International Business Transaction adopted by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development or ECD obliges member states to make the bribery of the foreign public official as a criminal offence. So in US, corruption is like offence lah, criminal. So if you do corrupt, normally they will put you into prison lah if you found guilty. Some economists believe that in a country where pre-existing political structure distort and limit the working of a market mechanism, corruption is the form of black marketeering, smuggling and side payment to government bureaucrats to speed up approval for business investment may actually enhance welfare. Some people they say it's actually enhance the welfare if you do all this corruption. So other economists have argued that corruption reduces the returns on business investment and leads to low economic growth. Some of them they said if you do corruption, it's actually your ROI is going to reduce and your economic growth is also low. Alright, now we have moral obligation. Alright, multinational corporation MNCs have power that comes from their control over resources and their ability to move production from country to country. Although that power is constrained not only by laws and regulation but also by the discipline of the market and the competitive process. Some moral philosophers argue that the power comes from the social responsibility for multinational to give something back to the societies that enable them to prosper and grow. As I told you, the social responsibilities, corporate social responsibilities. The concept of the social responsibilities refer to the idea that business people should take the social consequences of economic actions into account when making business decisions, and that there should be a presumption in favor of decisions that have good economic and good social consequences. So normally social responsibility you try to do something that relate with your social, your surrounding, the social, and then can benefit them. So social responsibility normally they can support for its own social responsibility can be supported for its own sake simply because of the right way of the business to behave. So normally it's actually part of your marketing when you do this. If your customers see this enterprise or this business, they do the social responsibility, so it's actually one of the marketing lah to attract them, to attract your customer, and also the customer might trust you. Then advocate argue that businesses need to be recognized their noblesse oblige, means honorable and benevolence behavior that is responsibility of success company. Means if you want to be success, you must have honorable on good behavior, okay, and give something back to the society that have made their success possible. Okay, society means your customer, so customer that makes you have high profit. So in order for you to pay what customer did for you, so you must do this social responsibility. Okay, next we move to ethical dilemma. Okay, ethical dilemma are situation in which none of the available alternatives seems ethically accepted. Means you have problem and you have an alternative, but the alternative, like both of the alternatives actually cannot accept. For example, you don't have money, but you need to mencuri. What is mencuri in English? Okay, you need to like steal something. So okay, for example, you don't have money, okay, you want to help your parents, so you need to steal the money. Okay, this is what we call as ethical dilemma. So your situation is not as ethically accepted. So the ethical obligation of a multinational corporation towards employment condition, human rights, corruption, environmental pollution, and the use of power are not always clear cut. So this is an ethical dilemma. Okay, what are the roots of an unethical behavior? What are the factors of unethical behavior? So there is no clear-cut reason why manager behave unethically. There's no reason why normally people are behave unethically. So the cause of an unethical behavior, we can say that it's complex and also it reflects normally it based on the personal ethics, decision making process, leadership, and realistic performance expectation, and also organizational culture. Okay, this is the cause: personal ethics, decision making process, and leadership, unrealistic performance and performance expectation, and organizational structure. Actually, these are the factors normally that influence you to behave unethically. Okay, see this diagram. So this is the factor that determine the unethical behavior. As I told you, personal ethics, decision making process, leadership, unrealistic performance goals, and also organization culture. Okay, now we go for first one by one. Okay, we have personal ethics. For personal ethics, actually the general accepted principle of right or wrong governing the conduct of individuals. So actually it's come from the individual, whether you are the one, whether you want to accept that right or wrong. Okay, you are the one. So this personal ethics normally influence the business ethics. So if you have a good ethics, of course you're going to like for example, you are honest, so you're going to influence your business ethics also. So you will be honest. Okay, expatriates may face pressure to violate their personal ethics because they are away from their ordinary social context and supporting culture, and they are psychologically and geographically distant from the parent company. Okay, they say that the expatriate normally have a problem in order for problem or pressure to violate the personal ethics lah, because they are away from, for example, if you are away from your country, okay, your personal ethics is more good lah, because you won't do something bad, okay. And then we have decision making process. So people may behave unethically because they rely on the economic analysis when making decision and fail to ask the relevant question: is decision is action ethically? So when you do the decision making process, sometimes you can behave like unethical. Okay, because you just do decision without thinking, okay, without you see anything, you see the consequences. Okay. Then we have organizational culture. So when we talk about organization, they refer to the value and the norms that are shared among the employees in that organization. The organization, what they share, the similarities they share, we call it as a organizational culture. So in firm with organization culture that does not emphasize the business culture, unethical behavior may exist. So if you have a bad culture in the organization, normally we relate with the unethical behavior. Okay. Then we have unrealistic performance expectation. When the parent company set unrealistic performance goal, manager may cut corners or in an unethical manner. So organizational culture can legitimize unethical behavior or reinforce the need for ethical behavior. Then you have leadership. Okay. Leader help to establish the culture of the organization. Normally they are the one who going to set the example and others will follow. So when leader act unethically, so normally your subordinates or your workers that work under you also, we're going to act unethically. So this is one of the factor that made the ethical behavior. Okay, there are several different approaches to regarding business ethics. So some approaches they deny the value of business ethical or apply to the concept in the unsatisfactory way. So others are favored by the moral philosophers and are the basis for current model of ethical behavior. Okay, we have the model of the ethical behavior in international business. We have this strawman. Strawman, the approach offer inappropriate guideline for the ethical decision making in multinational enterprise. According to Strawline, there are 4 common strawman approaches. We have Friedman doctrine, cultural relativism, righteous moralist, and also naive immoralist. So Friedman doctrine, they suggest that the only social responsibility of business is to increase profit as long as the company stay within the rules of law. They said just increase the profit as long as you follow the rules. That's Friedman doctrine. We have a cultural relativism. They argue that ethics are culturally determined and that firms should adopt the ethics of the culture in which they operate, or in other words, when in Rome, do as a Romans do. So they say, according to cultural relativism, you must follow the country that you want to open the business. If you open the business in Malaysia, do as a Malaysian. Then we have the righteous moralist. The approach claims that a multinational home country standards of ethics should be followed in foreign countries. Multinational home country standard should be followed in foreign country. Righteous moralist, if you open your business in for example, if you open business in US, for example, you must follow Malaysian way. This is a righteous moralist. So we have the naive immoralist, asserts that if manager of a multinational sees that firm from other nation are not following ethical norms in the host nation, that manager should not either. So it's something like you must follow the host country. If you're not, you are not acceptable there. There's a naive moralist. Next we have utilitarian and also Kantian ethics. Utilitarian approach is to ethics hold that the moral worth of the action and practice is determined by the consequences. So actions are desirable if they lead to the best possible balance of good consequences over bad consequences. So problems with utilitarianism, including the measure of benefits, cost and risk of an action, and the fact that approach fails to consider justice. While Kantian ethics are based on the philosophy of the Immanuel Kant, who argued that people should be treated as end and never purely as mean to end of others. This one is not important, you just skip. Right theories. Right theories, you recognize that human beings have fundamental rights and privilege which transcend national boundaries and culture. You have your own rights. Right theories establish a minimal level of morally acceptable behavior. So moral theories argue that fundamental human rights form the basis of the moral compass that the manager should navigate by when making decisions which have ethical components. So this one can skip. Right theories. just for your information or knowledge. Okay, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights specify the basic principle that you should always be adhered to in respective of the culture in which one is doing business. And the declaration was prompted by the idea that some fundamental rights transcend national border and culture. Okay, then we have a justice theory. All the theories is for boring. Okay, but I won't ask about theory because I don't like also. Okay, we have a justice theory. They are focused on the attainment of a just distribution of economic goods and services. A just distribution refer to one that is considered fair and equitable. Means justice is fair. Okay, fair and equitable, equal. Okay, one theory of justice that is particularly important was proposed by the John Rawls, who argued that all economic goods and services should be distributed equally, except when the unequal distribution would work to everyone's advantage. Okay, according to Rawls, impartially is granted by the veil of ignorance, means everyone is imagined to be ignorant of all of his or her particular characteristic. So when this theory exists, each person is permitted the maximum amount of basic liberty compatible with a similar liberty for others. Once equal basic liberty is assured and inequality is basic goods, social goods are to be allowed only if they benefit everyone. Okay, then we have the ethical decision making. Okay, to ensure ethical decision making, they are considered in the business decision. Firm should what are the in order for you to ensure the ethical issue, they are considered. What are the ways that you should do? Okay, you must favor hiring and promoting people with well-grounded sense of personal ethics. Okay, that's why you have interview. Okay, you can see whether the applicants that apply for your job is actually have a promoted personal ethics or not. How you maybe can ask a question that relates with the situation and so on, and see how they answer. Okay, build an organizational culture that places a high value on ethical behavior. That's why the organizational culture is important to shape your employees. So if your culture in the organization is good, so normally your employees is good also. Okay, make sure that the leader within the business not only articulate the rhetoric of ethical behavior, but also act in a manner that consistent with that rhetoric. So I can give you, like before I told you, like leader, if you are become leader, then normally the employees will follow you. So make sure that you have a leader that have a good attitude or good ethical behavior. Okay, put decision making process in place that require people to consider the ethical dimension of business decision. Okay, whatever you want to do, decision making process, make sure is ethical. You cannot put something that unethical inside the business, inside the decision making. Okay, then lastly, you must develop moral courage. Okay, everything must be moral. You must follow the moral. Okay, we go one by one. Hiring and promotion. Businesses should strive to identify and hire people that have strong sense of personal ethics. Companies should refrain from promoting individuals who have act unethically. If they unethically act, so you must give the punishment and so on lah. Prospective employees should be find out as much as they can about the ethical climates of an organization prior to taking a position. So normally basic things, you must hire the right people at the right place at the right time lah. Okay, of course you want to hire someone that capable to do work. You cannot just take anyone with the discipline problem to work in your organization. Okay, organization culture and leadership. To foster an ethical behavior, businesses need to build an organization culture. How you want to in order for you to foster the ethical behavior, so you must build the organization culture. How you want to build the organization culture? By the business implicitly articulate value that place a strong emphasis on the ethical behavior, perhaps using the code of ethics. You can use a code and ethics. One of the way you want to build the organizational culture, you must have a code of ethics. What is code of ethics? Actually a formal statement, formal statement of the ethical priorities of a business need to do lah. Then we have a leader in the business give life and meaning to the code of ethics by repeatedly emphasize their importance and then acting with them. Because employees, if your leader, like I told you, if your leader follow this code of ethics, so you as employee normally will follow. Then we have the business puts in place a system of incentive and rewards that recognize people who engage in ethical behavior and sanction those who not, because this one we call as a motivation. If you behave well, then maybe the organization can do that rewards or incentive to you, so you can behave more better. So if you have unethical behavior, so maybe they will just set you or buang you daripada kerja. Then we have the decision making process. In order for you to determine decision making process is ethical or not, so manager can ask a few questions. So this is a question that you can ask: does my decision fall within the accepted of values of standard that typically apply in an organizational environment? So if you want to do a decision, whether the decision that you make is actually accepted or not by the organizational environment or by the policies of the organization. Am I willing to see the decision communicated to all stakeholders affected by it? And also lastly, would the people with whom I have significant personal relationships approve of the decision? So these are the question that may ask lah. It's a lot of question. If you want to do a decision making, that big decision making, normally you have a lot of question you need to answer by your own. What are the decision making process? So manager can also use the 5-step process to think through the ethical problem. We have step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. So step 1, manager identify which stakeholder. I already teach you what is stakeholder is all about. The individuals or group who have interest take on claim in the overall action performance in the organization, means someone who like directly or indirectly involved in your organization. They must identify which stakeholder addition will affect in what way. You must identify which stakeholder normally affect the decision. We have 2 types of stakeholder. We have internal stakeholder and also external stakeholder. Internal stakeholder, people who work for or him own business, such as employees, board directors and stockholders. So people that work within the organization, that's the internal stakeholder. It include your employees, board of directors, and also the stockholder, someone that hold the stock of your country, of your organization. Then we have external stockholder. Stakeholder is the individual or groups who have some claim on the firm, such as customer, suppliers, and also unions. So external, outside organization. Because these people, customer, suppliers, and union, they are the one who like directly, indirectly involved in the organization. So step 2, the manager must determine whether a proposed decision would violate the fundamental rights of any stakeholders. Step 3, manager must establish the moral intent, means the business must resolve to place moral concern ahead and other concern in case of where either the fundamental rights of the stakeholder or the key moral principle have been violated. So you must ensure that you must establish the moral essence lah. The moral essence ni is the concern whether you follow the fundamental right or are you violated the rights of the organization. So the company engage in ethical behavior, step 4. The company engaged in ethical behavior. Step 5, the business audit its decision. They're going to review them to make sure that they were consistent with the ethical principles. So after that, there's a business audit. Lastly, they will do the decision, then review whether you are consistent with the ethical principle or not. Okay. Then we have the ethics officer. Okay. To ensure this ethics officer, the responsibility is to ensure the ethical behavior in the business. A number of firms should have ethics officer. So there's a number of things or number of there are a few conditions that the ethics officer should have. All employees are trained in ethics. Okay, sorry. A few responsibility of ethics officer. Okay, they need to ensure that all employees are trained in ethics. Ethics is considered in the decision making process. If you have a decision making process, this ethics officer will see whether you are following, you do the follow the ethics or not, and the company's code of conduct is followed. You must ensure that the company codes of conduct is followed. Okay. Then we have moral courage. So what is moral courage? They enable manager to walk away from the decision that is profitable but unethical. Okay. They give an employee the strength to say no to a superior who instructs her to pursue action that is unethical. Okay, because of you must have this moral courage, because some people, they just like, okay, you must follow what I say. You must follow me. If you do this, I will give you money. So it's actually, it depends on the individual. It's just if you say no, means there's no unethical behavior being conduct there. But if you say yes, it's going to, like, of course there's unethical behavior there. So that's why it's actually depends on the individuals. Okay. Give employees the integrity to go public to media and blow the whistle in persistent unethical behavior in the company. We have what we call whistle blowing. Okay, I believe and I know you already learned about this. So please try to find what is a whistle blowing means. Okay, does not come easily, and employees have to lose their job when acting on this courage. Okay, as I told you, if for example your boss is the one who asks you to do unethical things, okay, so you say no, I don't want to do whatever you say, I don't want to do this to that, so you might lose your job because of this. Okay, so you must ensure that. Okay, it's hard to get. Sometimes you have an unethical dilemma, right? Whether you want to follow your boss or you want to follow your moral courage. So everything is on you. Okay, last. Okay, I think this video quite short. It's just 32 or 35 minutes only. So the summary of the decision making steps. In the end, there are clearly things that an international business should do, and there's things that international business should not do. But not all ethical dilemmas have clean and obvious solutions. So everything I told you, it depends on you. Okay, that's all for the class today. So our code for this subject is, the quiz after this. Okay, ethics 04 IB. So this is the code for this week class, ethics 04 IB. So good luck, and that's all for today. Bye bye. Take care. Bye bye.